Hello, my name is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and today we're reading Saturnastra, Chicot. This is Chapter 8, Part 1, the first raid. The fall months came and my relationship with Chicot returned to what it used to be. Whenever I was inclined to have one of my jealousy fits, I remembered Chicot's scars. I was consoled by the idea that Gytha was with Chicot out of pity. It was a foolish thought, but at the time I refused to believe. I refused to know any better. While taking a word from a work break, I saw Alviss playing with something that looked like marbles, and when I came closer, I was shocked to see him playing with eye prosthetics. Taking one from the ground, I said, "By the gods, Alviss, what are you doing?" Alden, what are you doing? You're talking to me, boy? Asked Alviss, frowning. Yes, I added. The name is Alviss. I thought you would have learned my name by about now, said Alviss, returning to his little game. I thought you were called Alden now, I added meekly. Only on paper, boy, said Alviss, and there's nobody around here, so you can call me by my name. Before you get any funny ideas in your head, you must know that I am field testing these eye prosthetics. I must test their durability. That's why he's playing a marble with eyeballs. Oh, I said, returning the eyeball. While returning it, I got a good look at its design. It was anything but human. Other beings lose their eyes too, you know. Even our eyes are a bit different from those of humans. Our pupil is naturally more dilated to allow more passage of light in the dark places. Chicot says we naturally evolved such eyes as respond to living underground for centuries, explained Alviss patiently. I see, I answered. Then again, I never remember having good night vision. After leaving Alviss to his own devices, I went to my room to get a good look at my face. My eyes certainly looked no different than the eyes of a human. I then looked to my mother's eyes. Indeed, hers had a slightly larger pupils. It was a wonder I never noticed such a thing. I then went to Chicot's office to get a good look at his eyes. Since I was getting uncomfortably close, Chicot pushed me back and said, "Well, what the hell is wrong with you?" He said, "I just wanted to see the size of your pupils. That is all," I answered. "Oh, is it because of a new line of prosthetic eyes?" asked Chicot. "Yes, I am a bit curious about it. If we were to open a store, we would say, we have eyes, we have fertilizer, compact mirrors, hair products, soap. Oh yes, and mastercrafted swords and armor," I said, putting things in perspective. You get me? What type of a store are you? Oh, I do see your point. Stores that have a little bit of everything are nothing new. Our plan is to become one of the dominant suppliers of war and peace goods for the entire kingdom, and make a fortune in the process, explained Chicot. "I like the way you think. I have made more with you in the last 10 months than I have ever made working as a journeyman or in the circus," I said. "You're lucky I always pay what I own. If it was someone else, they would have given you a pittance for all your hard work, and you would have been far too sensible to recognize their treachery. Speaking of paying what I own, I realized I had not paid you back for the kindness you showed me when I arrived to Substance," said Chicot, smiling. "Oh, there's no need to it. I only did what I did out of boredom and nothing else. And considering that my testimony scarred you," I started saying when Chicot interrupted me. "Anyone in your shoes would not have done differently. I want to give you a present, and that's that," said Chicot, getting a box with a bow tied around it. When I opened it, I saw one of the finest rapiers I had ever seen. It came with a matching buckle and a parrying dagger. Looking sternly at me, Chicot said, "Have you been keeping up with your combat training? If you haven't, I suggest you go to the barracks and hop to it. You never know when our enemies may strike again." "Again?" I said, surprised. "Suspense comes at a price, Joseph. Our caravans are not a target, and I hear rumors of an impending raid." "The manor has already been warned," said Chicot, looking sternly at me. "I did not notice. Why haven't you been more public about this? And you should have been warning everyone. You should have hired more guards," I said, alarmed. "If I did that, then the enemy would know that I'm onto them. I want to spring their trap and make them suffer for it," said Chicot. Whenever he spoke as though he seemed like a completely different person. I took Chicot's counsel to heart. I visited the barracks once a day to practice my swordsmanship. After going there a couple of times, I I noticed that Chicot did not engage in any combat training. Then again, I assumed it was impossible for him to fight with one arm. While training, I befriended a handy battle axe user named Sir Richard Bullhorn. Despite having such a short appearance, Sir Richard was rather tall, even by human standards. He was always willing to spar with me, and he reasoned that almost all my opponents were going to be taller than me, and I had to learn to use the strength of my height disadvantage and compensate for his weakness. And before sparring with him, I always saw my height as a liability, a curse even. With a smaller size, I could maneuver around my opponent more easily to strike at the legs and other weak points in their armor. Historically, leg armor is really weak. When facing a heavy armor opponent, do not bother striking the body. Body armor is usually heavily fortified. Instead, tend to aim for the back or the knee or the leg joints. A good poke at the legs will leave your opponent incapacitated, and then you can take your time to finish him off for good, explains Sir Richard. Aside from those advices, Sir Richard gives me a catalog of armors. The catalog shows the armor designs of all the armors in the kingdom. It was annotated with information about their weak points and vulnerabilities. I was disappointed when I noticed that the catalog did not include the armors worn by the fabled dragon riders. Despite seeing much of the world as of lately, I was beginning to seriously doubt the existence of dragons. Chicot always found my skepticism laughable. Time, bro?
8 minutes.
As Chicot had warned, a mercenary band of almost 600 soldiers raided Little Sophia, and I was worried at first since Little Sophia lacked a proper stone wall. It only had a couple of guard towers at key locations around the town. The archers were able to slow down their advance, and while Chicot's guards moved into the assault, the non-fighting citizens went to the city hall for protection. The manor's home was their only one heavily fortified. After a skirmish that lasted 10 hours, the mercenary band retreated. While they left, Chicot's guard sent a light cavalry to trail them. Little by little, the enemy's numbers were decreased until only 5 captured soldiers remained. While the fighting took place, production was put on hold. We were made to battle ready just in case the fighting dragged closer to home. Some of the enemy did scale the fence of the manor, and they were wearing the said armor as armed men. One almost got close enough to try to slay Chicot. However, Gytha greeted the intruder with an arrow to the head. When the battle ended, I breathed a sigh of relief. I was not too happy about being sent to town to do a survey of the damage, and despite being overwhelmed by large numbers, not one of our own had died. Chicot had taken care to arm and train his own guards and a good portion of the locals. It was common practice for soldiers to be forced to buy their own weapons and armor, and only the rich ever got any true combat training, and that was usually with a private tutor. Time, bro?
6 minutes.
The common infantry had to learn this as they went along, and Veragero differed in this, and thus maintaining supremacy over the entire continent. This skirmish made me realize the importance of having a professionally trained force. Alright, that's the end of the chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.